So hello everyone here and welcome to my review of Coaches episode 7. Not a really good episode, not like a fantastic episode, but I think 8 or 10 or so. First of all, I think it's like 3 talking about this episode. First is Motoi's life, which seems really horrible, which I really focus here first and most. Then of course it's Ririn that now confirms she loves Nejima, but it's kind of like, she doesn't really know what love is, she's kind of confused by it because she does that. And then of course the last thing is that Shizuka Takazaki is definitely planning something. She looks very evil at the end of the day, looks super evil. Definitely like an evil mastermind, so kind of like, you know, Doflamingo One Piece kind of level like, I have a plan to control everyone. It was kind of like that. I was like, whoa, this looks evil, this looks really ominous. Anyway, so the first part of it is of course this marriage guy then, Motoi-san. And yeah, he works at the government, right? He works at the government that works with the marriage thing, force people to marry and yada yada. And his co-worker, which is a really cute character, right? That is apparently his girlfriend from when they were younger, right? They were apparently in love and so on. It's not exactly said, but it's like extremely implicit. He's like, oh, I know about this couple, and that's like clearly him because he's like white hair, he's like very, very crimson red hair, right? And then also when he goes back to his office, he's next to her. And she is like, and he calls him like his first name, and talks to him very, very casually. He's like, you know, address me as, yeah, he's like, don't be too familiar. And of course he calls about, this guy, then he met his wife, and he was like, whatever, he's happy with that. It's like, it's clearly him. It's 99.9% his own life, right? And that looks so horrible. So, because first of all, of course, he has to Nejima, he had a girl he loved, but the government forced him to marry someone else. Okay, that's how this world works. Okay, fine, but that's how it is. And it feels like that is probably something a lot of people experience in this world because they have to marry, but the government says it's the best on DNA was so for the marriage, right? So a lot of people are gonna lose their so-called like, you know, like voluntary relationship and so on. So that's one thing. But he has then to work with the girl he loves for X number of years after this, probably for at least 10 years or something. So they're working together next to each other, and she's kind of flirtatious with him and so on. He's like, stop doing it, yeah, and that annoys him, right? He has to be with her every day, the woman he actually loves, and then he goes home and he lives with his whatever, like, wife who forced him to marry. And he's like, yeah, she's pretty good, but, like, I still love the girl I work with. So that's pretty horrible. Like, that, I read it here. That's a bad life, right? That's like a very frustrating life. And on top of that, they are working. That's a little strange though. Why did he pick? Because I don't think they forced him to work that. Why did he decide to work though at kind of the government office where they force people to marry each other? Where they work with that thing? Because he seems to be frustrated and kind of have some kind of loathing hate, right, for the government and for these laws, the Yukari law and so on, right, to make them be forced for the marriage, which he should have because he was like, man, I love this woman and took it away from me. So obviously he hates that. So he goes to work at the place. I hope. I don't think he had much more storyline because he's kind of a very like mind-supported character. But I guess I would imagine at least that his like life is like, okay, I hate the system, so I'm gonna go and work there to try and be like, well, that's a kid over there, Nejima. He likes the other girl. I'm gonna tell him to like, you can't actually change this thing. If you blah 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 do this and this, you can actually check the paper. You can marry someone else. Like, I feel like he's actually gone there, right, to help people avoid what he had. Right, that's why he's like pushing Nejima, like. But you have to love this girl, you have more backbone than that guy has. He's like trying to force him to pick love over the law, right? So that's interesting. That's probably why he's there. And that's very likely why he decided to even work at the place to begin with, right? So he probably went to school, and then he got there. But his life still sucks. Like, he probably expect that to, okay, so I hate these systems. I'm gonna go and work at the system to kind of break it down as much as I can, or do something with it. And then he got there, and he's like, oh, I have to work with the woman they took from me. Yeah, and they have to be partners and sit next to each other. She's like, oh, ring, and he's like, oh, God. Yeah, his life, Moto-san's life, that seems really, really bad. That's my point. His life seems horrible. But I would imagine at least that the reason he even works to begin with, even though it's because he hates it, he kind of wants to work on the inside. It's kind of a spoiler here, but kind of an Angel thing. Last season of Angel, you know what I mean, if you watch that. Very good TV show, by the way. Buffy's a great show, but Angel is amazing, right? Last season of Angel, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. It's kind of like I have to work with my enemy to like and not turn evil when I do it, kinda. But yeah, very interesting. Horrible life. It's like this gave him like a few minutes of flashback. I was like, man, this guy life sucks. Yeah, like 2 minutes of flashback. I was like, That's a horrible life. Anyway, so then we have, of course, the Ririn part. Now we go to the last part here, which is more the general storyline. So Ririn part I found, it's kind of amusing, but also it is my latest at last week, because she is kind of stupid, right? I'm not saying that also is relationship and having this kind of inner sense of what you're doing and understanding your own feelings and so on. But of course her problem is a little ridiculous in this sense, because she is always presented as a genius, as I said last week. She's a genius at everything else, right? She's the best at school in every subject. She's the number one. This is literally the best they have pretty much in that town, right? Because she goes to like, the best school and she's the best. So she's literally the best person in like math, physics, Japanese, whatever, all the subjects, right? And also Yajima thing. But she has the worm thing. But when she doesn't have sick, she's like the perfect now. She's basically like the perfect, girl, so to speak, for her age, right? Everything except specifically like social cues. And I kind of dislike that, because it's kind of like, it's too much Hollywood for me. It's too much typical TV shows, because they have to have a character that is absolutely perfect in everything to have a huge flaw in something else. Where it's more natural, you'll be absolutely good in this thing, in this like whatever intelligence based this thing, you probably can carry over some of your intelligence to the other things, maybe not be as good at them, but you're gonna be at least average at least, because you're apparently super genius at this thing. But no, they have to go with this route here. This is the best only here, and then everything else is horrible at, right? So it's kind of that, but because she's good at several things, it's more like she's really good at this, and this thing, and then this thing over here, she's ridiculously bad at that. And that makes it a little tedious, to me at least, because it feels illogical. Like that's the reality. So that's a little boring in that sense, a little frustrating watching it. But generally, of course, the humor, I guess, in it was a little funny though. She's like, oh, I can't control myself when you're next to me, I can't do this. So that's fear. That's a little funny though. She's like, I'm afraid of you, because when you're next to me, my body shakes up and so on, so I must be really afraid of you. He's like, no, that's not fear. He's like, yes, you're very scary. He's like, no, that's like, that's not fear. It's like, that's a little funny though. So it's somewhat funny, but also it's fascinating to me, to be honest, because it's a little too ridiculous. I did like the part though when we see Shizuka, right? You see her talking about it. She was clearly describing love to me, but I liked her. So I was like, but I lied, because this anime is called Love to Life. She was like, she told me that she loves Nejima, but she didn't understand. I was like, that's fear, honey. that was good. She was like enforcing her weird social issues. She was like, yeah, you're right. That's what we describe as this issue, yeah. And that was great. She was like, yes, you idiot, it's mine, yeah. So that was good. She's half guilty over that, but also not right. So yeah, so the second party, yeah, she kind of loves him, whatever, and she knows, clearly she's in love with him, and she kind of knows it, I guess, now. And also he's kind of falling for her somewhat, or at least he cares about her. One thing that I noticed again here, which I really like with her, and why she's like the best girl, really nice, is because she is like, she's so caring about him, which I like at least. So if you want to date me, that's a good way to do it. No, but seriously, like, I like that. Where Shizuka is like, oh yeah, let's make up, let's just go and do it. She's kind of the fourth, yeah, I want a boy. I love you. That's that typical obsessive love. It's not meant to be bad, but it feels like just like she has her mind, on the goal, right? A little more that. It's more the end result. Really, I kind of like. I personally read it really enough. She's like, oh, your hobby is grapes. Let's go to this grape place. I checked them out on Google Maps, and I know this place. And I like how she makes an effort. Like she's really is like forcing herself on like an intelligent level to make an effort. Like, oh, you enjoy these things. Okay, I'm gonna research these things. I'm gonna learn about your hobby and your interest, and I'm gonna we can talk about that. Like, I love that with her. She's like that's a great way to, I think, to truly be with someone. So actually, it proves that your current point. Yeah, the marriage thing is great with them, but it kind of is right. I think so at least. What we've seen so far, she's kind of like an honest, very nice person and so on. But I like that part of her a lot. She is like making an effort to get to know her husband, and even if she doesn't like what he's like, she's like, I'm gonna at least offer like one day of my week to do your stuff that I hate, but like it's like you like, and then she probably obviously kind of hope for a trade or something, but still like, yeah, I want to do this thing for you, do this for me more, or like, I like that. So you're kind of like a pragmatic, I guess, love interest there, but I think it's interesting. Where of course Shizuka's more like this is gone, brr. This is more of that, right? And that feels like, again then, on my last part here then, about her, because she has a very ominous point there, and it feels like just that alone also makes her a little more evil or sinister, right? Because she's like, I would say, what we've seen so far, she has a very clear view of, okay, I want to be with this guy, this is because of the reasons, and they're not all like bad or like very lustful reasons, but it seems kind of like she has a very clear image of, I want to have this life with this guy. We're really nice, more like, okay, I want to have kind of this life, and in this life I expect these things, and he apparently has these things, so I guess I have to learn those things and be familiar with those. She's kind of like, see what's actually getting there with the husband and be like, okay, but I have to learn this thing. Or he doesn't need, or like, okay, he's a vegetarian, I have to, blah, blah, like, it's kind of that feeling, I guess, from her. She's more like accommodating to her, his thing, and they have more of like a trade-off, right? Like an actual relationship, I feel, where Shizuka is more like this kind of juvenile, kind of a 12-year-old crush type. She's like, I just wanna do it, regardless of the regardless of consequences. So it feels very, very eager, right? And that also comes to this whole last part there, where she's kind of omnibus there. It comes to that part because it feels like she's way more emotional attached, right? She's way more like maybe a little younger and younger, yeah. And it's like, I'm gonna kill her. It's a little of that feeling, right? I don't think the anime ever goes in that direction, but it's a little of that younger feeling for it. It's like, he's mine, and it's more about the physical, it's more about to have these clear goals, I say, more than about learning to love that person. She really is like, I'm loving that person because, right? Not really why, but more like I really decided to love that person, and she like goes for that. So, but yeah, that felt really evil there. I put it on that top there, that next part there with the fingers, this darkness in his face, like shadow out. I was like, okay, suddenly it's horror anime. It's like, what? And she's very like, I lied to her because she's mine. I have to do this now. Like, yeah, it's like, I have to hurry up. I was like, she's gonna murder Ririn? I was like, well, what? But yeah, it felt like she definitely plotted something. And I don't know what, but I think again it kind of points in the first theory there with her asking her friend Igarashi to change the names. Probably she did them because it clearly has some kind of issues. It clearly has a kind of, yeah, some planning there. She ran over him and he's hurt though. She obviously love him though. But I think again there, definitely borderlines more of this obsessive love, right? It's more like she loves him to death. It's more like that, yeah, she's like, I love him. I really love him. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what she's gonna do in it. But it's like good difference between them two. She's more like very obsessed love, which might be better though. It might be if you would marry a woman like that, you would be more happy. She would be maybe more exciting life. You would do great stuff together. You know, you'd be more impulsive. It can be a really, really fun life, right? And she might be more understanding if you do something, blah, 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 and so on. But on the other hand, really Shana feels more like accommodating in both the ways. So it's more like it feels more like a mutual marriage. It does feel like that, yeah. But it's like that it might be boring and stale, right? So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I would pick Ririn now. I'm a boring person when it comes to it, so I probably would. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week and have a great day.